Welcome back to the Competitor Talk, presented by Loud Creative Works. Today we're going to have guest Pat Light, former Boston Red Sox pitcher, on the show. He's a New Jersey native, went to Monmouth University, first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox back in 2012. So we're going to give him a call now, discuss his career, his college life, and what he's up to now.
Kyle, my man.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we're just on the podcast right now, and we'll just get going.
Awesome, man. Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah, so back in 2009, you were drafted by the Minnesota Twins in the 28th round, but you decided to elect to go to college. Kind of what was your mind process going through that?
Honestly, I was actually got a lot of help from obviously my parents, but the Twins actually helped me a lot through that process because it was the 28th round.
Yeah.
I wasn't obviously an enormous high school prospect. So as far as that was concerned, the Twins kind of told me that it was really kind of up to me. It wasn't going to be a huge signing bonus or anything. They kind of pushed me towards the Twins, and they actually advised me to decline it and go to college, and that they would keep in touch throughout college and look to pick me up my junior year. So it was actually a pretty simple and easy process for me. It wasn't much of a decision actually at all.
Nice. Yeah, I'm surprised. That's interesting that they kind of helped you through that. I'm surprised most teams usually don't kind of encourage you to sign. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
definitely. So then, 2012, you signed with the Boston Red Sox in the first round. So you went 3 years at Monmouth University, and then you signed. So did you ever go back and finish school, or?
Actually, I'm doing that this fall. So the way it kind of structures is that kind of Boston, you negotiate into your deal that Boston will pay for it, because obviously I had a full ride at Monmouth, and I don't want to leave and then take advantage of that. So Boston will pay for it if I start it in a timely fashion after I'm done playing. So I'm actually going back this fall to finish it up.
Awesome. What are you getting your degree in?
Business administration.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so just, back in high school, you had a 20-0 record in the Shore Conference, local New Jersey, and then you went to Monmouth. So did you have any, intentions of going to, a bigger school, kind of, or because you were 20th round pick, I'm sure, or did you want us to stay local?
Honestly, I didn't get recruited all that much to go to big schools. I was a big guy, but I went through probably, honestly, if we're being honest, probably maybe mid to upper 80s, and then I would be in the 90s every now and again, but nothing crazy. And, those big schools like Vandy, UNC, Virginia, all those big schools, they tend to, their freshmen come in and throw 95.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really highly talented out of high school. Pro ball guys liked me because I projected well, but on a pro level, I go in, if I went, I would go in at 18 years old. They could keep me for 10 years, to let me develop. As far as college is concerned, especially those big schools, they almost want you to come in and perform immediately. And I don't think out of high school I was ready to do that on that kind of stage. So Monmouth came in pretty aggressively and wanted to let me play all 3 years, which was a big deal for me because I needed to develop. And they gave me a great offer, and it was something that I thought, looking back on it, I would tell almost every high school kid, no matter who you are, to go somewhere you have at least a really good chance of playing all 3 years, because it will help you tremendously in the draft moving forward.
Definitely, yeah, because, most kids, especially at the bigger schools, you don't have to sit 1 or 2 years, kind of get their chance their junior year. So, getting all 3 years, I'm sure that helped you progress well, because, practice and all helps, but, the real performance and progress is probably in the games, you would say.
Oh, my God, yeah. You can only practice so much.
Yeah.
You go on the bullpen mounds, you put a little dummy hitter in there and hope to, perform. But, once you get that adrenaline run and you get, you're facing a team that you're actually trying to win that game, it's not all about me as a pitcher and just getting strikeouts and whatnot. You're trying to win the baseball game. So, pitching all 3 years, I went 2-6 with a 6.12 ERA, if I'm not mistaken, my freshman year of college. In a conference that isn't the best conference in America. Let's be real. So I obviously was not ready to go pitch any other places, but because I went to a small school and because I had a good investment from that school in me and my scholarship, they let me pitch every weekend for my entire career. And because of that, by the time I got to the Cape Cod League after my sophomore year and then my junior year, I was ready. I was way further along and was able to go and compete and perform, and then ultimately get drafted in the first round.
Awesome. Yeah. So just going through the process of college, you mentioned in high school you threw around like mid 80s to upper 80s, sometimes hit 90. Did you say probably throughout college, like what were you most trying to progress on? Was it, your strength? Was it more of, mobility? Like what were you kind of looking at?
Well, college especially is kind of when your body starts, kind of coming into itself.
Yeah.
So for me, it was all about strength, trying to get into the weight room more, and kind of learn how to develop my strength for a baseball standpoint, not necessarily obviously a bodybuilder or anything like that, but like try to develop my body into a baseball. In a baseball way that makes sense for a pitcher, and learn that. And then obviously the biggest thing, I think it's kind of any kid's mind. I was 18, 19 years old. Biggest kid in anybody's mind is trying to throw harder. And I'm not against guys that are obsessed with velo, because to be quite honest with you, velo gets you drafted high.
Yeah.
When I started hitting 100 my junior year in college, actually I didn't hit 100 until pro ball. When I started, throwing 98, 99 my junior year in college, a lot of doors opened up for me. All of a sudden, instead of being a third, maybe second, third, fourth round pick, now all of a sudden I'm being talked about in the first round and eventually get drafted in the first round. So velo is aggressively important. If you don't have it in your arm, though, and then that's when you start developing, the location, start developing the second, third, fourth pitches, so that you project well going into pro ball.
Yeah. So, what other pitches did you throw? I mean, I know you were a big power fastball guy, but did you throw any like curveball, changeup? Like, what was your arsenal like?
In college, it kind of stayed the same all the way through pro ball too. It was four-seam fastball, obviously, and then my splitter was my out pitch.
Okay.
It was, arguably probably my best pitch. If you look at the numbers in the splits, throughout my pro career. And then my slider was kind of just a wrinkle in there every now and again. I remember, in pro ball, I used to throw it. Let's say I got into a battle with a guy 3-2, and he's seen 10, 11, 12 pitches. I felt comfortable enough to throw my slider in there for a strike, because more times than not, because they won't recognize the pitch, you'll freeze them, and you'll end up getting strikeouts. So that was just a wrinkle. If I threw that in hitters' counts and stuff like that, usually, to be quite honest, it get crushed. It wasn't that great of a pitch, but it was a good wrinkle every now and again.
Definitely. Yeah, so you mentioned a little bit before about the Cape Cod League after your sophomore and junior year. Can you just kind of touch on that, like what it's like up there? Because I know it's such a prestigious league.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was intimidated, like you wouldn't believe, to go up there, come from a small school. I remember one of my best friends I played college ball with, told me that it'd be really difficult to get up there just from the school that I was in. Obviously, it's a small, no-name school. But so I was intimidated, like you wouldn't believe, going up there. But it was an unbelievable experience. I mean, there were scouts, agents everywhere, and that's really kind of where I got on the map as far as being a top round draft pick, because I went up there. I wasn't very good at as a starting pitcher up there, but when they put me in the relief role, I did a lot better. And I actually think that's the first time the Red Sox saw me, who drafted me. And it was honestly eye opening, because it showed me and kind of gave me a little bit more confidence that I could compete at the highest level in college baseball at the very least. So now that I felt like I could go do this, going back to Monmouth and going to the NEC that year, confidence was at an all-time high. Now I believe I could compete at the ACC and the SEC, the Big 12. So it really helped me bring that confidence to my junior year, which I think led me to have so much success.
Yeah, so up there, I know in the Cape Cod League, do you play? Is it like most games? Like, do you practice and then like play on the weekends, or how does the schedule work up there?
You never practice, not that I can remember. Maybe you practice a little bit early in the beginning. But I don't. It's been 8 years ago now, so I might not remember everything. But I think you play, pretty much every day or close to it. I know we had a few off days, and I remember going to the beach and stuff. But you play a lot, and there's. I don't think you really have any practices. But the best part of the Cape League is the travel is so easy, because everything's so close on the Cape.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too much of a grind. It was actually, probably my favorite summer playing baseball. And, it's either that or Newport, which it was the year before, which was unbelievable. So the schedule up there really isn't that big of a deal, or not much of a grind up there, especially in comparison to the minor league baseball.
Awesome. Yeah. So then, after college, you got drafted by the Boston Red Sox. Did you see? Was it a tough progression to get into pro ball? Just with seeing more like competitive batters, kind of stuff like that.
Honestly, Boston does it in such a way where, because Boston, they'll go pay for top free agents, so
Okay.
they don't need to rush their minor league prospects. So they're able to, and they kind of take you slow, which it helps as far as progression is concerned, because you don't get thrown right into the fire, and the fire you might not be able to handle.
Yeah.
Boston was great about it, but it is definitely an adjustment. You're talking. I think the old saying is like it's 1% of college baseball players get drafted, and then like 1% of that 1% make it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
So it's super competitive, and you're either facing fantastic Latin hitters that you haven't Latin ball hitters that you don't know really have their brand of baseball yet and how they like to approach the game, or you're facing some of the best college baseball players out there. So it's definitely an adjustment. You don't really have weak parts of the lineup.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, as you move up the ranks, the weak part of the lineup goes even smaller. You're talking about the 3-4 hitters in A ball are now the 8-9 hitters. And then you get to the big leagues, and you're talking the 3-4 hitters in AAA are the 8-9 hitters in the big leagues. So it just gets tougher and tougher.
Definitely. So throughout your pro career, were you just always a reliever?
I was a starter until 2015. So I played A-ball, so low A, high A, as a starter. And then when I got sent to Double A in 2015, that's when I became a reliever, and then I was a reliever the rest of my career.
All right. Yeah, so just kind of, being a reliever, most starters have a routine. They'll start one day, and then they'll have like an off day, workout. Kind of. So how did your mindset go from a starter to reliever? Just, knowing you have to be ready every day.
Yeah, it's completely different, obviously. As a starter, you're working on a 5-day schedule where you throw one day and you don't pitch again for 5 days. And it's very regimented. Like, it's day 1 you do this, day 2 you do this, day 3 and so on. So it's a very regimented life as a starter, and you're probably only actually playing 20 to 25 games a year. You don't really do much towards the rest of the year. So as a reliever, especially at the higher levels, you got to be ready to pitch every single day. And, I think the most appearances I had in a year, maybe like somewhere around 60, 70 range. That's a lot of games for a pitcher. And granted, sometimes you only go in and pitch for an out. Sometimes you pitch for 2 innings. So it varies. But the biggest difference was having to have my body ready every single day, rather than knowing you have certain days off. And that was a challenge for me. Going up the ranks, especially because I was a 1-inning guy, so they really don't really give you that many off days as a 1-inning guy. So it was definitely a challenge for me in learning that, but luckily I was able to learn it in the minor leagues, not have to worry about learning it when I got to the big leagues. Yeah, so,
just being a reliever, after pitching, do you have any, specific, recovery that you did, to prepare yourself for the next day, just in case you had to pitch?
Well, most of the times, the biggest thing for me was I lifted usually that night. So if I threw, I would usually lift right after the game, or right after I get pulled from the game.
Okay.
Just to kind of, now, depending on how I thought, if I thought I was 100% available the next day, and definitely, one of the top guys coming out, if I was a closer, for example, and there might be a lead to protect, I wouldn't lift that heavy. I would more focus on getting on the training table with my trainer and letting him get my arm massaged out and making sure that the lactic acid doesn't stick in there for very long. The biggest focus point, though, was trying to eliminate soreness from the next day. Just trying to warm up, trying to throw the next day, and having to be sore during that is pretty difficult. So, sometimes I would ice, sometimes I wouldn't. It varies from time to time. For the most part, I was on the training table with the athletic trainer, doing everything I could to minimize soreness the next day.
Yeah, so just when you made that transition from starter to reliever, at first, did you feel like soreness, and then as you you got used to the reliever role, it got easier and easier to come out the next day?
Yeah, my arm definitely adjusted. I kind of figured out what exactly I was going to ask of it, and obviously, as I progressed, I learned a bit more what I should be doing to eliminate soreness. Whether it's getting stretched on the training table, whether it's getting ice, whether it's getting massaged. There's certain things that can help you through that process. And so, obviously, as I learned and as my body learned and got stronger, and and stuff like that, it was able to kind of make the adjustment a little bit easier.
Yeah, so just would you say it was more of, relieving the stress in your arm than actually like going into the weight room and like lifting? So it was more of just like, workouts to relieve stress?
Yeah, you could say that. In reality, when you're pitching, it's just like lifting. Essentially, you're breaking down, you're bringing down muscle tissue, and then it's trying to rebuild that, and that's where the soreness comes in. So when you're done throwing, breaking all that scar tissue out of there that's already building up, and then doing it again the next morning through a massage to get that scar tissue out of there and get some nice blood flow in there, that is what's going to kind of get you as ready as you can be for the next day. Because a lot of times, soreness isn't the end of the world. If I'm out there and my number gets called and they need me to get ready, I can get ready. It might take me a few extra pitches, but I can get ready. But sometimes you don't have the luxury of a few extra pitches. Sometimes they need you quick. So again, trying to minimize that soreness allows you to kind of get ready as quickly as you can from day to day.
Yeah, so just kind of like being in the bullpen, were you more of a weighted ball guy before you got on the mound and threw, or how did you prepare to go in?
Yeah, I was never a weighted ball guy. Not that I was against it, just wasn't kind of my thing. I knew a lot of guys that did that kind of keep their arm healthy and strong and moving. To me, I was a simple guy. I didn't like to do a lot of crazy stuff. And so to me, anytime I watch my buddies doing weighted ball, it just looked like way too much work for me. So I like to keep things simple. So the best thing I would do really is when maybe like the 7th, 8th inning rolls around, or when I start feeling like I might be the guy that's going in next. I was just gonna get up, get the blood moving a little bit, get my arm stretches out a little bit to kind of get me going. Because you just need to get close. Because once the phone call actually rings for you, adrenaline pretty much takes over. But you still need to be close, as close as you can be, so that the adrenaline doesn't have to make up for everything.
Yeah. So just after being in the minor leagues for a few years, then can you just kind of like explain like how the feeling is of getting the call up to the major leagues?
Oh man, it's crazy. And, I remember I was sitting in my house. I was in AAA in Pawtucket in 2016, and I was just chilling there. I actually knew that we had to have rest. Usually in AAA, the 40-man roster, you watch the big league games when you can, because if they start struggling out of the pen, you realize that there's a chance you might get called. But for whatever reason that day, I only watched maybe 1 or 2 innings, and then I went and ate dinner and kind of hung out the rest of the day. And I was actually hanging out with my buddy Brian Johnson, who's actually still pitching for the Sox right now. And I was hanging out with him, and then all of a sudden my AAA pitching coach called, or my AAA manager called. Obviously gave me the call. It was a whirlwind, man. It's tough to sleep that night. I had a 6 a.m. flight to Houston the next morning. So it was a whirlwind. It was probably the most happy I've ever been in my life. But it's crazy, man. Just to kind of you've been waiting for that phone call since you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
And to do all that work, put all that work in, and finally get it was unbelievable.
Yeah, so, getting, you just mentioned you had to fly to Houston. Was there anyone, when you walked in the clubhouse, you kind of wanted to go, like, get any tips from or, meet?
I spent spring training with those guys, so I knew most of them at that point. And I talked to a bunch of them. And honestly, it was really, I found my buddies. I went to Robbie Ross Jr., I went to, David Price, Rick Porcello, those guys that I was closer with. Because just kind of getting acclimated to the clubhouse and making myself feel at home, so that I feel like I'm a part of the squad before joining the team. Don't feel like I have to go out there and prove anything to anyone, and then end up trying too hard and things.
Yeah. Are you still there?
My surroundings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think it broke out for a second.
Cut out. It's just honestly, I told you, the guys I went to, my buddies, just trying to make myself feel as comfortable as possible.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, just getting to the big leagues and getting that first call into the game, was the adrenaline like having an extra kick on you? You'd say?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was insane. I warmed up like 5 times when it was Sunday Night Baseball against Houston. We went extra innings. Okay. I warmed up like 5 times. It was honestly, it was brutal because I was running on like 2 hours of sleep. And I was definitely tired. But it's amazing what adrenaline can do. I didn't end up getting in that game. I ended up getting in Atlanta the next night.
Okay.
But running on 2 hours of sleep with a 5-hour plane ride, and immediately going to the field, like, it was crazy. But adrenaline kicks in, and you're just on top of the world that you're there.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing that can bring you down. You don't think that, AAA, you think about that. You think about the 5-hour plane ride and that you didn't get much sleep the last night and all that stuff because it's different. But once you get to the big leagues, it's just, it all goes away.
Awesome. Yeah, so, just after that, was there anyone you'd say, like, throughout your whole career that kind of mentored you, or you kind of, like, any coach, player, teammate kind of that, helped you out?
Let's see. I mean, honestly, I talked to a guy by the name of Brad Brock. I think he's in Atlanta now, but I'm not quite sure where he is. But Brad went to Monmouth, which is obviously my alma mater, and he'd been in the league for a number of years. So I talked to him, quite a bit, and he was kind of the mentor through the whole process because. No matter what had happened, he was always kind of, talking to me, because he's been through it all. He's done it. He's been in the league for 4 or 5 years, and he's gone through the ups and downs. And honestly, the biggest thing when I was talking to him, when I was talking to David Price, Rick, or whoever whatever pitching guy I went and talked to, the number one thing everyone talked about was just having fun and letting yourself do whatever you've been doing your whole career, do it the same way up here, because it's no different. Just the lines are a bit tougher in space. But you're there for a reason. People often forget when they first get called up that you're facing a bunch of big leaguers, but you yourself are a big leaguer, and if you couldn't compete at the level, you wouldn't be there. So having that confidence, having fun was the biggest advice I got from anyone.
Awesome, yeah. So just after playing in Boston, you got traded to Minnesota. Was that kind of was that a tough transition going over there because you were with Boston your whole career, and then you had to transfer?
It was been interesting. For one, I was in AAA at the time when I got traded, and we were playing the AAA team of the Twins, so I just went from one locker room to the other. But it's different. You played your whole career with these guys. Some of them, BJ, was my best friend in baseball. So it still is. So leaving all of your teammates, everyone you kind of grinded through the minor leagues, and hopping over to Minnesota, it was a change. The guys in Minnesota were fantastic. But it was definitely a change. And I was kind of expecting it too at the time, because they didn't need the type of pitcher that I was in the bullpen. Obviously they had Craig Kimbrell, they had Taz, they had Koji. I was not. I was a luxury for them. They didn't need me. So I was kind of expecting it, but it definitely was tough to leave those guys behind. And then go to a new squad. But at the same time, it was exciting because Minnesota was having a down year. Boston obviously wasn't. And when you get traded to a team having a down year, you often get more opportunities. And I did get more opportunities, which was nice.
Yeah, so, just playing in Minnesota and Boston, in the pros, did you have anyone, that you thought was the toughest batter to face, just being up there?
Honestly, the toughest guy I had to face was probably Albert Pujols.
Okay.
Honestly, just because for whatever reason, that guy was, a poster on my childhood wall.
Yeah.
So, whenever you face someone like that, it can be a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
But the guy he just saw the ball. He just saw the baseball so well. It felt like he was, he knew everything I was doing at any time. But the other guy, honestly, is Miguel Cabrera. And I always did well against him. I think he was 0 for 3 with, 3 ground balls. I think one of them was back to me. The other one was, nothing was hit well. Okay. But the dude was I think I was 0 and 2 on him all 3 times.
Wow.
Doing some of my best pitches, and he would foul him off. Like he just couldn't beat him for a strikeout. So I think, honestly, those 2 guys were clear, toughest batters I've ever had to face.
Awesome. Yeah, so just, after your pro career now, what have you been up to besides going back to school?
Yeah, going back to school. I own a restaurant here in Hoboken, which is where I live, Hoboken, New Jersey. People don't know where that is. I own a restaurant over here. Might be, buying a couple more. We'll see. I've done some stuff with Barstool. Awesome. Those guys over there. So I've been kind of all over the place, but it's been fun. It's been a lot less stressful than the big league baseball is. So it hasn't been a bad life.
Definitely. Have you still been watching any games or anything?
Yeah, I watch a lot of the Red Sox games.
Okay. Still a Red Sox fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up a Yankee fan, but the Red Sox, made my dream come true. I'm indebted to them for life now. Plus, it's pretty much all my friends are on the team, so it's good to watch those guys succeed. Those would be the games I watch. Sometimes, the Brewers are on TV. You can't get enough of watching Christian Yelich.
Yeah.
The Dodgers, that's a lot. That's a really fun team to watch, too. So there's some teams I will go out of my Red Sox comfort zone for, but there's not many.
Definitely. Yeah. So just, after that, do you have any plans of, coaching or, getting back into the game?
No, not really. I never wanted to be a coach. That just doesn't interest me all that much. The only thing that I could see myself possibly doing is maybe some front office stuff.
Awesome.
But I don't even think I would do that. I was always a big fan of, and I told everyone this when I was playing, that when I was done playing baseball, I wanted baseball to go back to just being fun for me and no longer a job. So I would imagine that I would stay out of baseball from a working capacity. And more just fun talking with guys like you, guys at Barstool. That's more fun for me, so I prefer to do that.
Yeah, just one final thing before I let you go. There's been a lot of talk, in baseball, just with the strike zone, having like not a home plate umpire, but, someone behind the home plate, calling strikes and balls based on, like a graphic. Just, kind of just speak on, like, do you think they should do that? Do you think they shouldn't? Because, it's America's pastime, and, taking away the umpire's control, kind of, yes, it might help the strike zone, but, it also takes away from, that special, like, bond.
Yeah, I think you should keep the umpire. I think human error is part of the game. I think it's, again, like you said, you touched on it. It's America's pastime. It's not getting too far away from that.
Yeah.
But I also think, and pitchers talk about this all the time, hitters better be careful asking for that. Because there are plenty of times, I remember when I was playing, you watch a baseball game, there are plenty of times there are pitches that are hitting the dirt that are technically strikes where they cross the plate. So I think it's dangerous for hitters to really want that. I think they might not want it as bad as they think they do. I would not be supporting it. I don't think it's smart for the game. I think the human error of the game is big. When I was pitching, I would be setting up umpires as much as I was setting up hitters.
Yeah.
Umpire, he gives you an inch off the outside edge. Let's test him. Let's see if he'll give me 3 inches off the outside edge. And you're playing to the umpire almost just as much as you're playing to the hitter. So it's all part of the chess match, and I think taking away the umpire would take away from the game.
Awesome. Yeah. No. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Just that kind of just changed the game. They already have the shift, and they're changing the ball. Taking away the umpire, could just totally, just completely change the game. So it's interesting.
It could. It completely change the game. And also, those balls are juiced. I don't care what anyone says.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Do you have any just prediction for the World Series? I know it's kind of early, but before we let you go.
In the game here, I picked the Sox and Dodgers again.
Okay.
Actually, I think I picked the Sox and Brewers, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time. Sox aren't looking great right now.
Yeah.
But, people talk about that last series they had against the Yankees and how the Yankees crushed them. The Yankees still gave up 21 runs to the Boston Red Sox. All of a sudden now our pitchers pitch a little bit better. Maybe add a few pieces to make that bullpen a little bit stronger. And next thing you know, you're talking a different team, and a team that might be able to hold that other team under 21 runs. So I look at this Red Sox team as being a good team and a team that can still compete, and it's a team that just won a World Series. So I'm sticking with the Sox in the American League, but I will be changing my Brewers predictions back to the Dodgers. So I think we have our first repeat World Series match in I think several years. And I'm taking the Sox again. I might be biased, but I'm taking the Sox.
Awesome.
Sox in 7 against the Dodgers in October.
Yeah, people are already counting out the Sox. It's kind of early. I know, they can hit their stride. They can win 10 straight, all of a sudden they're back in the AL East race. So I totally agree with you.
I think they won 8 out of 9 before they went to London.
Yeah.
So it's not
it was just their pitching.
They're not playing a bad brand of baseball. It's just the Yankees are really freaking good.
Yeah.
It's called state of state here. But the Red Sox are thinking as a wild card team, I can promise you the Yankees don't want to play them.
Oh, absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. But anything can happen in October.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining the podcast, and good luck to you. Everything.
My
good luck
pleasure,
going back to
Good
school.
talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too, man.
Bye. Yeah, so there you have it with Pat Light. Have a good day.